So yeah, we're from Lloyds Banking Group. My name's Fred Thomas. I've been working at Lloyds, that's me with my kids by the way. I've been working at Lloyds for just over 10 years. The last 4 years I've been in our Centre of Excellence for Analytics, which is Group Analytics. And I run a team of visualization report developers, and we primarily build a lot of self-service visualization capability using Tableau.
And I'm Pippa. I joined Lloyds Banking Group just over 4 years ago. I came in as a developer and I've kind of grown up through, and now I have a sister team to Fred's who do very similar. This is me with my friends acting like kids.
So just take a step back. When I came into Group Analytics 10 years, and a lot of work previously in Lloyds had been in reporting, but a lot of our reporting looked very much like this. A lot of Excel reports, business objects, bit of a spaghetti junction. It was quite a painful environment, a lot of things going wrong, a lot of reactive sort of stuff, and users of our reports had struggled getting the information they needed and accessing the reports. So that's sort of taking a step back 4 years ago.
But let's fast forward to today. So we've actually been on quite a massive journey, and we've implemented Tableau to provide self-service analytics around the group. And not only is this allowing the business to make data-driven decisions, and they've got data at their fingertips when they need it, but it's also freeing up our analysts to do the real value-add analytics, rather than that kind of run-of-the-mill churning out the same numbers each month.
So what are we going to talk about today? First of all, I'm going to take you through some of the highlights of our journey with building self-service solutions, some of the examples of the stuff we've been doing in this space.
And then we'll go on to how our analytics community is actually kind of the core to supporting that self-service analytics. And then finally, we want to leave you with some tips and tricks to take away to your own businesses to implement to help you build your own communities.
First of all, Lloyds Banking Group, I'm sure everyone here has heard of us. Big bank, 30 million plus customers across the UK. We're the leading retail bank provider, and we're actually the largest digital bank in the UK. We've got a number of brands, they're just some of them. Halifax, Bank of Scotland, Lloyds Bank, Scottish Widows, MBNA, and just to name a few. Big organisation, about 80,000 odd employees across the whole of the UK. There's a lot of analytics that go on in the group, and a lot of data. We created Group Analytics about 3 years ago to basically bring together a centre of excellence to work on not only reporting and visualization, which is where me and Pippa sit, but also we've got a team that works on data engineering, data wrangling, a rapid analytics response team that do fast answers to questions, and we're also building advanced analytics capability, getting into machine learning and more into the AI sort of capability. So it kind of covers the breadth of analytical space. Tableau is used across those areas, but fair to say it's probably used most and most mature in where me and Pippa work in the reporting visualization space. So some examples of the kind of stuff we use Tableau for self-service. I have pixelated these because of the sort of sensitivity of information, but we build reports on strategic data, strategic projects that are going on in the bank, tracking our 3-year programs. We do a lot of work in the bank on customer segmentation, trying to understand different customers, how we can treat them differently. And Tableau and self-service reporting has really helped us bring that to life so people can investigate the different customer dimensions. And I'll share a bit more examples later, we look at customer journeys, and we're rolling out Tableau across understanding all of our the journeys our customers go through to improve the processes in the bank. We also do reports, self-service on things like reference packs. So this is self-service, so people can come in and ask, how many customers have we got? How many customers have we got in these particular regions? What do they look like? How many products do they hold? We have more standard reports on marketing performance with some statistics and modeling in there as well. Something we're really proud to be part of is the Consumer and Business Digital Index. This is a study that comes out twice a year. The Business Index is coming out later this month. And we use Tableau to provide a lot of the analytics on top of the research and the data to provide the stories in them. And we've also got more sort of traditional MI to track our customers' behavior and product ownership. So great load of stuff in the reporting space. That's just a few examples of the kind of stuff we do. Some of the ways we've been improving the quality of our outputs over the last year mainly. One is really encouraging the team to be more innovative with how we're doing visualization. So we're experimenting a lot, and this is a great thing about Tableau. It's enabled us to really take advantage of a visualization capability, and it's a really strong tool in that space to try and bring insights to life. So this is an example of one of our customer journey dashboards, and we're bringing out customer journey dashboards to try and map out all the journeys that our customers go through, maybe taking on a new product, a new mortgage, or going through a particular process in their life where banking is really helpful. This is an example of one of the key sort of pages amongst the suite of reports, which tries to bring to life the journey that all our customers are going through. This is an arc diagram, the thickness of the arcs of a number of customers going through each step, and then the red sort of flow out the bottom is the drop off at each step of the process, which sort of indicates maybe they've got a problem with that step in the journey. The great thing about this as well, and what we've been doing in visualization, is it really can highlight where there might be problems with the data. So customers shouldn't be able to jump from the first step in the journey to the last step, but the visualization shows that really is happening. So bringing this to life in self-service has allowed us to circle back with our data colleagues on how we can make sure we improve that and fix those problems. As well as innovating in the visualization, go back one. As well as innovating with the visualizations, we've been trying to bring a lot more standardization and branding to our reporting. So we've created best practice guides, some more templated approaches, particularly when it comes to front pages and around the edges of reports, to try and really standardize that and make it more professional and make people more likely to engage with it and things easier to find. So something we put on all our reporting is really clear front covers with hover over buttons so you can see what's in each of the reports, and then you can click on them and navigate to them. And down the side of each report, we've got navigation panels. And with the latest version of Tableau, that's becoming a lot more easy with the introduction of things like buttons, which we never had before. That's something we're really pushing forward and trying to roll that out across a lot of reports across the group. Something I'm really proud of and my team has been really heavily involved with doing over the last year is creating a new approach to our exec reporting for our strategic programs. So in the past, a lot of our programs, projects were very much presented up the line to the execs through PowerPoints in meetings. What we wanted to do is create a self-service material where they could actually interact with them heads up, and we would move away from PowerPoint and very sort of one-way presentations. So we created a whole suite of reports, again extremely pixelated, which we call the Nerve Center, which tries to really provide the exec with everything they need to know about how projects, programs across the group are going, and also provide them with a drill down capability to find out more information. Something else we did alongside this, which I think is really maybe quite novel for an organization, is create a dedicated room. We call it the Abeo room, Japanese war room, that interprets as, where we have a number of screens up, which are all touch screen, and we have a process where we walk execs through this room with dashboards. I should have probably put dashboards on the screens, it would look better. We walk them round, and instead of them sitting down looking at a presentation, a PowerPoint, they can actually interact with the dashboards and start drilling and touching stuff. And that's really started to change the way those meetings are run and get them interacting more with the reporting we do.
We use those meeting as planning sessions as well, so it's really leading kind of how they're making decisions, where the business goes is based on these dashboards.
Something else we've been doing more recently, and we didn't do in the past, but we're finding extremely useful, is to try and track the usage and the performance of the report. So whenever we deliver a new self-service solution, we use Tableau to create some usage stats. We can use this to really help simplify, improve what we've got, but also go out there and talk to areas of a bank that we can see aren't using our reports. So we can do a lot more engagement and focus in a proactive way to really change the culture of how these things are used. So I just want to wrap up my sort of section of this. 3 big challenges we've had along the way, and I could probably present a whole presentation on each of these. The first one is, how do you keep up to times with a big organization? Challenges around funding, of scaling things like Tableau. and we've just entered a new agreement, and we're scaling to make it much more enterprise-wide. Keeping up with the latest versions, and also the governance and the security around the data. So we've done a lot of thinking along these things, and we put in place a lot of things to make these happen. But again, there's more information I could talk about on those. Something that I know a lot of organisations are tackling with, and we've struggled with as well, is getting the culture of a bank away from Excel, PowerPoint, and some parts of the bank are very much like that. But I think we are changing it with things like self-service solutions, getting stuff on iPads, things like the Herbarium, to make self-service reporting, heads-up reporting a much more integrated part of the culture. Also, the way we're developing dashboards and reports has helped that as well. We've gone into a very agile way of working. We have Scrum teams, sprints. We iteratively deliver this stuff so we can get out much faster and react much quicker to stakeholder feedback. And finally, a big organisation, lots of analytical teams, different areas of a bank maybe using different capabilities, different best practice, team silos. That is a big challenge, and it's something we focused on a lot in the last year.
And so some of these core challenges around these silos and segmented kind of how we do things is coming from, we've been this constant dilemma. Should we centralise or decentralise our analytics? Should we have a central function that provides everything to the group, or should we let each different department do their own analytics? And so we've been in this constant flux, but now we're moving towards a hub and spoke model, otherwise known as a federated model. And so the principle behind this is you have a centre of excellence, which group analytics is trying to be, and then what you have is central functions in each different division. So, for instance, we know that we don't know the savings data the best. We know that savings business knows the data the best. What our core focus is pushing forward how they're doing their own analytics. And so it's really key that we kind of build those connections across the group. We've also got another dilemma, is that we've got quite a lot of employees, which also means there's quite a lot of analysts. So just looking at our Tableau users, we've got 5,700 server users at last count, but I think that's probably increased, and then 970 desktop users, and that's a lot of people to try and talk to, share best practice, teach, train, and so our solution to this has been building an analytics community. Within our community, we've got kind of separate guilds, effectively, for different skill sets. And one of the core guilds that really founded the analytics community was our Tableau community. Now, the Tableau community started as a bit of a side-of-desk activity within group analytics. We were one of the early departments to pick up Tableau, and we saw that it was quite complicated with all the red tape and how we'd implemented it. And so we were like, we want to help people. We want to help people learn, help people upskill, and stop them having to take time onboarding like we have. And so we've seen it go through a full life cycle, and we kind of compare it to bringing up a child, bringing up a community. We've seen it go through its newborn phase, and this is where the people who decided to bring it into the world, it's very much, they've got to keep it alive, and it is very dependent on the people who bring it into the world. We've then seen our community go on to the infant phase. This is where it's really test and learn. You might fall over quite a few times. You then go on to the school phase, and this is where your community really starts to build out its network, build friends, but also starts education. And then finally, where your community really starts to pay back, and this is where it flies the nest. And so we feel like our community has started to get to this stage now where it's really starting to reap the rewards. So let's give you a few things that we've found through that journey. Hopefully it will help you speed up your own journey, and I'm sure we could learn from you as well, so please come and talk to us after. But when we were in the newborn phase, there was 3 core things we had to get right, and that was the community had to be easy to search for. It needed to be easy to be found. I mean, I've seen some communities called some very obscure names, like the Power Rangers community. Who knows what that's about? Get the name right. It needs to be accessible to everyone, so everybody needs to be able to get onto that platform and be able to see their community. It's community, it should be inclusive. And then finally, we wanted a central hub. We wanted one place for that community to exist, so we needed somewhere that everyone knew to go to if they wanted to find stuff out. And what we came up with was the Tableau Exchange. It's got Tableau in the title. It's got a huge amount of content on there, so we go from events, we go through guides, tutorials, questions. you name it, it's getting published onto there. And so having an internal kind of social media network has really helped us. It's kind of like, is it Facebook Hangouts as well? If that rings a bell. So this was our hub. We now had our hub, but we needed to start working out what the community wanted and what it needed. So first thing was to find some other users. Surprisingly hard in a big business with really deep silos. We actually went and spoke to the licensing team quite a lot and asked for a few favors, for a few names, to go and get our foot in the door in other departments and work out who was using it. Next, we talked to the support teams. Tableau is an incredible tool, and it has a lot of functionality, but being in a very governed industry with a lot of red tape, we had to make sure we were operating in the right way. And so it operates slightly differently in Lloyds Banking Group to maybe some of the stuff it advertises on the website, purely for kind of our own industry. So getting to know those support teams and working out how it was operating in our business was really key. And then finally, we opened up to a small group, and this was a small group of people close to us where we could really do that test and learn of content. What did they like? What didn't they like? And yeah, we just tried to start small. Next, our community went to school, and this is where we started to make really strong first friendships. So one of the best ways we found to kind of really build a strong and lasting relationship was to offer help and not expect anything in return. We'd been on this journey. Anything we can do to help you upskill, we will try and do. Next, we then started to upload our research and training. So a lot of people would come to us and ask us the same questions, like how do I build my first bar chart and how do I connect to a data source? Get that training onto the hub so everyone can use it and free up your time to do some more like value add stuff onto the community. And then finally, content doesn't create itself. In the first days, it was very much bringing it into the world. We had to publish all the content. But actually, you need to encourage the behavior you want people to echo. And so I would go out, and if anybody asked me a question, I'd say, that's a really good question. Can you put it on the community because everyone else would like to see that? Or if, for instance, I saw somebody creating a really amazing viz, I'd be like, actually, I think that department over there might really benefit from that. Could you publish a guide? And then finally, our community, it's now starting to stand on its own 2 feet, and this is where we're starting to reap the rewards. And so some of the kind of key benefits that we're starting to feel now is we're using it to promote effective use. We've got limited resource and a hell of a lot of data and a hell of a lot of departments and people trying to get onto it. And so we're using the community to do like drives of certain kind of focused activity. We wanted people to build efficient workbooks and make sure they were using the tool in the right way. And so we used the community to really drive that and help improve how it was being used. We then also kind of become a support function in our own right. So sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes a server might go down. Sometimes you might find a bug. And actually, because we've reached a critical mass in our community, I think we've got 750 desktop users are now onto our community. It's actually become a really great way to communicate that out across the group. And then finally, the really fun part is the crowdsourcing, and this is where you can crowdsource hackathons, these sorts of visualization and creative events, but also you can crowdsource change. So can you go and write something on the Tableau community pages, on the actual Tableau community pages, and upvote it a load of times to make sure that they actually implement that next feature. So things like that, you can really start using the weight of your community to do good. So I just chucked on here some content that we've pulled from the Hive pages to give you some of the stuff that we think has landed really well. So I'm really bad at my left and rights. In the top left, you've got GIF demos. They are literally 5-minute learnings that people seem to upvote and like a lot. It's actually the sorts of things that people don't learn in the kind of classroom lessons that you'd normally give in Tableau. Things like Control W swaps your rows and your columns. People love that because it makes them feel like they're becoming a pro. At the bottom, we've got kind of we let people vote on what content they want to see in workshops so that we make sure the community is engaged and actually involved in what's being shown. So for this one, I think Tableau were coming in to talk to us, and we said, do you want them to talk about this, this, or this? In the top middle, you've got more complicated visualization guides. So people go and write, this is the data structure you need, and these are all the calculations you need, which is like a wealth of knowledge. We've got loads of them on there now. We've got events, so our hackathons. We've got kind of service memos. So if we've made a change to the server, we let the community know through the Hive page. And then finally, the real kind of golden nugget is these questions and answers. And so we've started to see that questions are getting asked and answered within 10 minutes, which is pretty impressive when there's somebody stuck in one department, maybe in a small team who can't answer that question, and then another team can go and answer it. So that is really where we've seen huge benefits.
As well as the online content, we've had the opportunity to run a number of events to get all our community members together, which have been really, really well attended and really good to be at. We ran one with Tableau support a couple of years back. First time we got everyone together is when we really started using Tableau in a big way and presenting across the different teams what people are doing and networking. Fast forward to just last month, we did a follow-up internal BI event, and that was again really well attended. We had a bit of an Iron Viz contest, we had some training, a mini hackathon. Really good things to do, really good things to get people together internally and start networking. Alongside that, we've run some cross-group analytics, some internal conferences on advanced analytics, R, Python, but also how can we bring visualization and things like Tableau into our advanced analytics space. So Tableau helped host one a few years back, and then just last month as well we ran another one in the advanced analytics space. Something we've got into and we're really enjoying and we're doing more and more of internally is hackathons. We've done quite a few now, led by Group Analytics, but others in the group have been done as well. We did one a few months back on mental health, and it was really good to use some data in that space and to kind of come up with some innovative solutions about a charity, an area that is quite close to the bank and one of our sort of advocate areas. We also did one just a few weeks ago on fintechs and the threat to the banking industry, and get a mix of people there, collaborate across different disciplines, using Tableau to visualize some of the outputs. Really good fun, really good events. I'd really recommend people looking into holding them, and there's some really good outputs that come out as well.
So we realise that it's all good talking about community, but it's sometimes quite hard to sell into kind of the senior leadership of businesses because there isn't a kind of pounds and pence value on I've spent this much time doing community and it's added this much. So we've just tried to list a couple of the kind of the benefits we ourselves have felt. I won't read them all out, but some of the core areas is like onboarding and training has really sped up. So we managed to get people in now and they can be up and running with Tableau in a matter of weeks, and off running on projects and creating some amazing visuals. We also have found collaboration across divisions really, really like positive. So we've seen where people will open the doors and say, actually, our reports are quite similar, let's consolidate, and then we can spend our time doing something else and real value add. We've also started using it for governance and best practice, and then finally for this kind of sense of mutual support and sense of belonging. One of the biggest blockers to people picking up new skills and actually getting really involved in analytics is a bit of a fear and anxiety about the unknown. And having a really supportive and active community has really helped people, I think, to get involved.
So just to wrap up and summarise, I think I showed you at the start, Tableau has really helped Lloyds Banking Group unlock insight from our data. And establishing a centre of excellence in the group as well has made a massive impact in the quality of our outputs and how we can disseminate best practice and really raise the profile of analytics and data in the group.
But we also realise that a centre of excellence needs people to listen to it and it needs to have friends. And so building this analytics community is the key for our future success and making this hub and spoke model work. We've also recognised that this is the tip of the iceberg. We're only kind of touching not even kind of the top 10% probably of all the analysts around the group. So we've got a huge way to go as well. But yeah, we're really excited to continue on this journey.
So finally, there's no time now for questions, but we will position ourselves over on the Tableau stand, which is stand 427, over in the middle, somewhere over there. If you do want to come and have a chat, please do. Otherwise, please contact either myself or Pippa if you want to have a chat or get in touch. There's our contact information there, which I'll leave up for a minute. So really hope you enjoyed that and got something useful out of it. Thank you very much.